should be ready to go. So tonight we're gonna have like an open forum. Anything's open for discussion. Let's wait till we get a few people on here first. Usually takes about 60 seconds to 2 minutes till we start seeing some people get on here. So today we were out at the mall, guys, and we hey, Sinful is your first one on here. All right, we're going right up right now. Maybe we could start getting some questions going on here right away. Wow, it's going up fast too, so this is good. So it looks like it's gonna be a good night, guys. We got Sinfuls on here. Who else we got on here tonight? That's good. We can get this rolling fast. This is great. As soon as you guys want to start shooting some questions here, we can start. We're up to 10 people. Michael L's on here. Good morning. Good morning, Michael. How you doing? Let's see. We got Variable on here. Variable. Who else we got on here? Let's see who else we got. Dennis. We got Dennis Antonio. Let's see. Sinful says just keeping an eye on Tal as we got a house in Salang. Yeah, that's not too far from me. So we've been watching it too. But it usually doesn't cause a problem for me except for like a dusting of ash or whatever. And we got Brian Adamson on. He's a regular. Let's see. John Allen. AK Wade 76. Good morning. Let's see. Marco Polo Adventures. How you doing, Marco Polo? And JM Ramiro. How's the Delta variant there? I don't know. I really haven't heard that much about it. I haven't really been following this thing too much, except for, when I go to the mall, I see them giving out the shots and stuff like that. I know the VA's giving out the shots, Let's see. Kelly Ladner, and it shows like a YouTube symbol. I don't know what that means, but anyhow. Yeah, if you guys got some questions, we can get going on the questions here. Let's see, we got 14 people on here. But the Delta variant, I'm sure that they probably have it here. It's getting around the world, I heard, so I'm sure it's here. Everything travels fast nowadays. Mike D says, evening, Steve. How you doing, Mike? Let's see, who else we got on here? Let's see, we got 18 people, 20 people now. This is good. We're moving fast tonight. So let's see, we'll wait for a couple more people to get on here. But yeah, if you guys want to shoot me some questions, Tal actually had 3 eruptions so far, Sinfuls. And they're mostly like gases and stuff like that. I guess when it hits the water, it turns into gas. See, Brian Adamson says, I hear they have listed 57 countries they may Greenland for entry. I'm hearing some rumors, but I don't know if it's 57. Let's hope so. Let's hope we get some countries that get Greenland in here for tourists and stuff like that. They're waiting. Actually, one of the places that I go to, the resort, Tanza Oasis that I go to, they're actually giving 20% discounts for the first room that you rent. And if you rent for other people, they give you 50% off. That's a really good bargain, And that's a nice place to stay, too. It's down in Tanza. Let's see, John Allen says, how good is the VA system there? You know something, John? It depends on who you talk to. If you talk to me, I'll swear by them because I know that they're supposed to just do service connections there. And they always take care of me very, very well. In fact, I got better care here than I did back home. So that'll tell you something right there. For my service connections, they helped me a lot with my service connections. So let's see. J.M. Romero, I would like to go to the Philippines around mid-October. What are my chances of them opening to tourists? I think you'll be ready by mid-October. I think so. I think within the next couple months we're going to start seeing some changes. We're hearing rumors, but that's all we hear. So I don't want to put out a video going off of rumors until I see something like a document or I hear something really hardcore from some of the people that I talk to. But they're all saying that they're hearing rumors, and they're pretty high up. So we'll see what happens. That's all I can say. Mike D says, Moderna and Pfizer are holding against the Delta variant, others not so well. Yeah, the VA here is giving out Johnson & Johnson. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Roger Miller says, good evening, Steve. Enjoyed your travel videos this week. Yeah, we're going to have some more of those, Roger. Probably none tomorrow morning. Like I usually put one out at, I think, 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning from here. I usually schedule one. I don't think I have any more scheduled right now because we don't have any. But we're going up to Manila probably tomorrow, depending on the weather. Even if it rains, I think we'll probably go up there and do it anyway. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that we can get into Muros, and I'm hoping we can get the World War II cemetery up there. So we got some good footage coming up pretty soon. So if we can get that footage, it all depends on the weather though tomorrow, because it rained most of today. Michael L says, as a civilian, is the SRV worth it? Since my income is wages and 1099, it would not be counted as pension. It has to be a pension, Michael. And so you'd have to put down the 20K like you said. Is it worth it? Yeah, because you can still get a condo with that money, or you can buy you can lease property with it, a long-term lease or something like that. So it's possible. Yes, absolutely. You could. I would say get it. You know what I mean? Because it's better than getting kicked out after 36 months, unless you get married or something like that. Then it's a whole different thing. But that 20,000 is not locked up like people tell you, because, like I said, you can get a condo, or you can get land, or things like that. But when you leave, you can also get it. Let's see. The green line for the moment is only for OFW. Yes, you're right, Dennis. Okay, Dennis. BG Johnson says, have you seen many expats get scammed by women in the Philippines? I've seen some get scammed, and the guys don't even know that they're getting scammed. And the woman is talking behind the guy's back, and they don't believe it. I told one guy one time that the woman was talking behind his back, and he said that, he didn't care. So, and I think he's ended up marrying the woman. So that'll answer that for you. A lot of these guys, they just don't get it. There's some good women over here if you look around, but some people just don't listen. You can't tell them anything, So I actually did a story about that guy in one of my videos. Joe Fulham made it this week. There we go. It's J.M. Romero says, you can buy a condo with the 20,000 K there? Yes, you can. If you come in here on an SRV and you put the 20K in that account, you can buy a condo. Unless they change something with all the changes that are going on. As of right now, you should be able to still buy the condo. It says it right on the, if you go on the PRA website, you can read about it. It says you can use it to buy a condo, okay? I believe it says it on there. So Mike D says, yes, Jam, 20K up to around 50K is average for a condo. Yeah, it's true. Right around there. Depends where you get it. Let's see. Jim Marcus says, hi, Steve, enjoy your blogs. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. Rick DeVries, there we go. Good morning, Steve, from Alberta, Canada. How you doing, Rick? But to get back to the condo thing, yeah, condos around here, they're pretty reasonable. Just remember, if there's an earthquake and the building gets damaged and they have to tear it down, you lose all your money. But try to get it away from like a fault or something like that. You can get fault maps over here. Keep that in mind. Whenever you buy a condo or live in a high-rise building, definitely get an earthquake map of where the faults are, okay? And get it as far away from those faults as you can. So, because there's a lot of places where there's no fault. Palawan is actually a good place. If you want to stay away from earthquakes, that's the perfect place. Let's see. Tim Johnson, hello, Steve. How you doing, Tim? Let's see. John Allen, Will, 4,500 a month. Let me live good there. John, you're about $500 off from me, and I live really, really good here. I mean, I'm not a person that goes out and blows my money or anything like that either, so I end up saving a lot of my money. And I live just a little bit below you, and I'm able to save a lot of money, and I'm putting my girlfriend's daughter through college. So, I mean, you can live extremely well. I get away. I go on vacations. We go to Tagaytay. We go to Batangas. We go to Tanza Oasis. We get away as much as we can, So you'll be able to do it with 4,500 a month. You'll live extremely well, So let's see what else we got here. So we're up to about 32. We got 6 thumbs up. Let's see. Jim Marcus says, I was coming to the Philippines September, but with regulations rebooked for January, spending a month there, and if I like it, coming back to live and retire. Yeah, I mean, here, it's about what you make of it, because a lot of people come over here and they see the third world nation thing and they just don't like it, and it's not for them. And I tell people, it's what you make of it. So if you don't like one area, you can always move to another area. I tell people, if you like Western standards, Move to a town that's, you know, has Western standards like Tagaytay. Move closer to Manila so you can go to Mall of Asia. I tell people Tracy Martires is a perfect place because it's in the middle of all those places and it kind of gives you the best of all worlds, you know. So, see Jim. Let's see, Jim Walker. Am I too late? No, you're not too late. We're just starting. We're about 10 minutes in, Jim. Let's see, Keith Richard. Do you think American tourists can come visit soon? Why was the USA not included in the green lane? Well, we'll see. I mean, things are changing rapidly. I think within the next month or two, I think they'll open the floodgates. They need to. They have to. You know, it's going to happen. See, we're up to about 37 people, 9 thumbs up. Let's see. And then Smoky Mountain Model says, good evening, Steve. But to get back to that, I think American tourists will be allowed in here this summer sometime. That's just my thoughts. I really believe that. I think they're working on that stuff right now. I think they're starting to see how bad this is hurting the tourist industry. We're gonna see things open up. They will open up, you know. See, Mike D says, I'm debating doing the Thai elite visa for 5 years. It's expensive, but privileged access and discounts. You get a driver, masseuse, and passport assistant. I'm under 50, can't retire there yet. You know, you can get discounts through the PRA for these SRRV visas. And the other thing is, Mike, if you go for the SRRV route in the Philippines, you also get help getting your driver's license and things like that over here. And, you know, like I said, you do get discounts. Keith Richards says, appreciate your channel. Thanks, Keith. I appreciate that you guys watch, you know. So Francisco Fletes says, I'm a little confused about the green lane. Is that for tourists or only those who have resident? It's just about for anybody who they want it to be, whoever they want to open it up to. But it's going to have to do with vaccines and stuff like that. They would green lane them into the country faster. That's what that means. So some of these people still have to go into quarantine. And if you have the vaccination, that you get to be quarantined shorter, I think. They change it every day. So, like, not every day, but they look at it every day and they move it up and down. So, you know, you have to find out off them, like, where they are as of that day. BG Johnson says, what about $2,400 a month living near Manila? Yeah, that's easy. You could do it. It's not an issue. I live near Manila, BG. So just FYI, Tracy Martires is a bus ride away. And that's why I tell people it's perfect here because we don't get all the pollution and stuff as much. You know, and it's about an hour 10 minutes, hour 20 minutes by bus ride. You know, so, and you can take a shuttle there faster. You can take a van right not too far from my house. I can walk there. Let's see, Mike D says, I need the 35 plus SRV to open again. Let's see, I'll use the veteran option if they do. Mike D, if you're 50 and over, you can do the other thing, but the veteran option probably wouldn't work for the 35 plus if you're below 50. That's only for people that are 50 and older, Mike, so just FYI. So the 35 plus is a different SRV. So you may want to go on the site and double check that because that doesn't apply to veterans for the 35 and over. They're trying to knock out those ones. Those I think are going to be permanently gone. But we're not sure of that yet. We haven't heard anything. You know, but right now it says on there only 50 and older. It says right on the top. So Mom She Ging Adventure. Good afternoon, watching from Kuwait. How you doing, Ging? Let's see, Jack Tripper got the Moderna in March. So far, so good. Roger Miller, Alabang is a good area for Western lifestyle. Very good, yes. Alabang is one of my favorite towns that we've gone over there a few times, but the malls were so tight on like security over there because of everything that's going on. We did get in, but you had to go sign up, fill out all these papers and stuff because we were from outside that area. And they loosened up by now, I'm sure. But I love Alabang. Alabang is really, really good. Alabang has the best malls probably in the Philippines. I think they're better than Mall of Asia myself. Mall of Asia is nice, but I think Alabang has prettier malls, you know. So let's see. Zane Underwood says, hey, Steve, Zane here, checking in, watching the live stream, hoping all is well, my friend. Everything's good, Zane. Let's see. Eternal Bliss, evenings from Sweden again. I really love the information you provide. I have a love interest in Davao, so I will most likely aim to retire in that area to get close to my love. Great work. Thanks, Eternal Bliss. I have family over in Sweden, over in Stockholm and Malmo. My whole family's from over there. So, on my father's side. Francisco Fletes, no veteran option for under 50. That's correct. I'm under 50 and got the human touch, 10K deposit. I'm a veteran. I'll switch to veteran when I turn 50. Yeah, we talked about that before, Francisco. Yeah, you can switch, guys. So if you put in for anything under, if they'll let you do it for the under 50, but right now they're not, you can switch. But as of yet, they haven't opened that up yet. So I think they will, though, eventually. Mr. Hot Toddy says, hi, Steve. Checking in. Love your show. Thanks. Let's see. Mike D says, I'm retired Army, but I'm old enough. They shouldn't punish younger vets, but it's whatever they decide. They shouldn't, but the Chinese were the ones that wrecked that, Mike. So it's not the U.S. that they're trying to punish. It's the 27,000 Chinese that got in here. Let's see. Justin French says, sorry, I missed the towel update. Are you wearing a mask outside due to air quality? No, actually we're not here. But the air quality's definitely changed a little bit. It's been raining, so I didn't do a towel update because I didn't think it was really worth it, because those are just small things that are, it's just gases and stuff like that. It's not a big deal right now. This isn't a full-blown, I was here during the last eruption. This is nothing right now. That's why I didn't do an update. So, you didn't miss it. I didn't do it. Let's see. Jack Tripper says, I'm a fairly new listener. Have you ever showed your girlfriend on YouTube? Jack, I usually don't show my girlfriend on here. I don't show any of my family. You might see them in the background occasionally in some of my videos, and that's about it. Maybe on when I go on a trip or something, you'll see them in the background, and that's about it. I've showed my little boy here a couple times, and that's the only people I really show. He pops in and out every once in a while. Let's see. Prairie Mock's on board. You are right about having reserved for medical expenses. I have spent $1,500 on medical tests in the last 3 weeks, and we are just getting started. And that is only nine weeks after I came. Mark, that's about right. That's why I tell people, man, have a reserve, definitely, I feel bad for you. Look into the Pacific Cross though, Mark, and, see if you can get something out of them. Maybe you can get a good deal with them. They have different types of plans, and you can kind of get partial coverage and partial self-insure or whatever, like I talked about before. But yeah, I try to really tell people about that, man. You always need extra money, medical reserve, So, Tennessee Traveler, good evening or morning. It's evening here, Tennessee Traveler. Thank you. Ravi Gupta says, good afternoon, watching from Qatar. Let's see. Jim Marquez says, Steve, I am planning on staying with my girlfriend. She lived in Kandajai. Simple life, she says, not like the city, hoping to adjust with weekend getaways to have fun. It sounds like, I don't think I know that place, but let's see. Smoky Mountain Model says, I was checking out the Srrv visa and saw something about having access to a Filipino medical plan. That's PhilHealth, I think they're talking about. Would it be better to have a private health plan? Yes. PhilHealth only covers you about 25%. Now, if you're self-insuring, PhilHealth might help you, but it only covers certain things, and they don't cover a lot of things. So you're better off going through Pacific Cross, where they have something called an access card and pay the hospital directly, so you don't have to have money to pay the hospital, okay? And Thomas Riddle says, news July 4 travel will be back with a vengeance as Americans get back to living life. Probably, yeah. Mr. Hot Toddy says, Steve, I seen a video where the president there was talking about green countries and the USA is not on the green country list. You know anything about that? I haven't heard that one yet, And when they start opening up, I've been watching the news here. I haven't seen anything of that. I try to get most of that news on Google News. But they'll open up soon. I'm not sure, if we're going to be added to that list. We'll be on the list because we're sending them all kinds of stuff over here, and we're helping them out in a big way with, protecting the country right now, and they know that. So I'm sure that they'll open up to the U.S. It's going to happen. Trust me. Pat Keene says, Bonjour, Steve. How you doing, Pat? Doug says, Get the likes up, folks. Let's see, what are we up to? 29. We got 68 people. Let's see, Tennessee Traveler. I know it's evening here in Cebu. LOL. Okay. Let's see, who else we got on here? We got 68 people on here. But let's see. To get back to what Prairie Mark was talking about, when you come over here, guys, you really, really need to have some sort of fund, to back up medical costs and stuff like that when you get over here. Be careful. I can't impress that enough on people. I see people coming over here and then they tell me they got $5,000 saved. That's not enough by any means, and you need at least $20,000 over here. I would say $10,000 at the minimum, and if that's only if you have insurance here. See, Mike D, only Brunei and like 10 other nations got the initial green lane. Let's see, is it hot in the Philippines? Yeah, it's hot, Anders, if it's not hot if you're in Tagaytay or Baguio, and there's a few other places that are fairly cool. Batanes is only cool because of the wind, the steady wind, but it's hot there and humid. Paul Gibson says the light reflection on your glasses makes it look like you have horns growing from your nose. Love your vlogs. Yeah, I noticed. I got a couple of comments from that. It's because the kids are sleeping. If I marry my girlfriend in the Philippines and live here, what are the medical insurance best options married to a Filipino? Pacific Cross. I tell people get Pacific Cross. That's the way to go. Pacific Cross has many different plans, and some of them pay the hospitals directly, like I said. Francisco Fletes says, saw your Forex update. Pleasant surprise. Yeah, that's a good surprise. That's a good surprise. I'm glad when I'm wrong sometimes, my friend was also wrong. He says things are changing, and it's, they're definitely changing for sure. Are most high-rises in PH constructed such that you would feel safe living in them? How old would the building be before you would think twice about it? I don't like high-rises here because of the earthquakes, we've had earthquakes in this building here. We got a big crack in the wall I'm looking at right there from an earthquake, so it's just a tiny one, but it's a crack. It goes all the way from the top to the bottom. That happened during the last earthquake. Let's see. 23Z Chris, Philippines temp around 28 to 33 Celsius. Local here, FR Cebu. Let's see. Roger Miller. Steve, I am from UK, been here since 2011. Currently, I have Bupa Global Medical cover, but it is getting expensive as I am 73. Would your Pacific Cross be a cheaper option? Yes, but here's the thing, Roger. You pay for coverage, and then you don't get coverage except for accidents for 1 year, so they can kind of sort out the pre-existing conditions. Okay, so when you apply, hold on to your other insurance, but when you switch, and make sure that you're safe. And then it's only going to cover you up to a certain amount if you do the peso plan. Tell me you're interested in the peso plan. If you do the dollar plan, it's going to be a lot more. The peso plan gives you ask them if they pay direct, okay? Because I'm not sure when you get into the older the plans where people are older if they pay direct. They do pay swiftly, but I don't think they pay direct. But it's swiftly still pretty good, so you get your money fairly fast. Or they might pay the hospital directly if you call them or something. I don't know. You'd have to talk to an agent about that. If you go through my videos, you can call the agent or email her. Okay, she's really, really good. Let's see. Any condo in Asia, I would recommend buying new. Sell in 5 to 10 years. The note is good for 50, but will it be in good shape by then? The maintenance is total crap over there. Yeah, that's kind of a good idea because they can tear it down whenever they want. Once it starts deteriorating and the concrete starts crumbling, they might say, well, all right, time to tear it down and build another one. And then what are you going to do? You've lost your house. So BG Johnson says, I've listened to some people complain about the food in the Philippines as compared to, say, Thailand. How is the food in your opinion? BG, I usually go to Western restaurants here. I don't eat much Filipino food. I really, really don't. I never have. I love my steak. I love places like that. I go to Prime Steakhouse over here. I go to Mexican restaurants. I used to make my own quesadillas here. In fact, we still do sometimes, and we make cheese quesadillas, chicken quesadillas, all that stuff, But I eat mostly Western foods. I have cereal and, I have eggs and bacon and things like that. This morning I had bacon, eggs, and hash browns. So not the healthiest breakfast, but it was good, you know. Let's see. Kaparn says, Roger, I think if you get something serious, you could just move back to the UK. Let's see. Zane Underwood says, that's about 84 to 91 for you Fahrenheit people. Yeah, it's pretty hot here. It's the humidity right now. Let's see. I want to have 3 girlfriends when I get there. If I'm upfront with them, would that be possible? If you're dating and stuff like that, probably, yeah. I mean, just if you're just dating them, you know, I don't know. That's up to the girls. I can't answer that one for you, Jack. Sinfuls, Mike D, exactly what we are doing. We'll clear about 175% profit on our condo. Let's see, Sinful says that. Philip Rogers says the food is really good. Really depends on if you have an open mind. Yeah, it's true. You know, I don't like eating fish and weird stuff, you know. So, I mean, I go and I see the fish in the markets here, as you guys saw on that video I did the other day walking around. And you probably saw all the flies there. I won't eat fish here, no. And Mike D says, that's the way, Sinfuls. Robert Angel, I love sisig. Sisig's pretty good, some people say, but I just won't eat that stuff. I just don't eat any of that stuff. You know, Ernest Canal says, if someone is ready now, when do you think it would be a good, realistic time to make a retirement move there? Waiting till 22 or 23? I mean, it really depends on you. I think the tickets, the airline tickets and stuff are going to be really expensive, you know, so just FYI. You know, I think they're going to be really expensive at first, and then they'll go down. So you might want to wait a little while. You know, Roger Miller says, yeah, Bupa pays direct. I have a card for automatic authorization, but this year the premium, they want 5K GBP. Let's see. Keith Richards says, I don't want 3 mother-in-laws. Yeah, that's for sure. Keith says, ha, ha, ha. Let's see. Sinful. Zane Underwood here in Northwest. My home weather station recorded 116 Fahrenheit. That's up in Washington State, Oregon, I heard, where it's usually cool too. That's incredible. So, but yeah, if you guys are looking to buy condos, be careful too. Some of those places are, you know, they're not good places to get involved with. You know? Yeah, so I was right, Sinfuls. You're up in Washington State. Leonard Lund says, hi, Steve, from Houston, Texas. I wonder if it's hot in Houston. That's a good question. Jim Marquez says, Steve, thank you for your wisdom. Looking forward to hearing more from you. Thank you, Jim. Philip Rogers, the only problem with having more than one girlfriend, they all own machetes. Yeah, you know, a lot of the girls here can have a bad temper sometimes. You know, especially if you cheat on them or something like that. I wouldn't want to play that game with some of these girls around here. You know, I just wouldn't, especially if they think they're serious with you. Do Wi-Fi extenders work there? If they work anywhere else, they would work here too, I'm sure. I know they sell them here. You know, they sell them on Lazada, so they must work here. You know, I don't use them. I don't really need them. My Wi-Fi goes through all these apartments here. In fact, the people 2 units down use mine sometimes. So, let's see. Google sucks says 20K in PH Bank for non-military SRV is steep. Even if you have the money, why not go with the 3-year tourist visa? Because here's the thing there, Google. After the 3 years, if there's a pandemic or something like that and you get kicked out, you can't come back in. That's the whole thing behind it, you know. John Allen says, is it easy to open a bank account and have your money transferred from the U.S.? Yes. I use Western Union to transfer it from my bank in the States, which is a credit union back here. And it doesn't cost me that much. Craig Jordan says, Steve, what do you do in those awkward moments when you are served Filipino food as a guest in someone's home? That's a good question. I avoid those situations, you know. I really do. I stay away from places like that, where I know that, you know, I'm lucky that my girlfriend doesn't have any family around here, because that would be hard for me, because I'm very picky about food that I eat. I have to see it get cooked, or it has to come from a really nice restaurant, you know, because I'm very picky about stuff like that. I have a cleanliness thing, you know, so that's just me. Mike D, butterfly knives. Hand one to a Filipino and stand back. There you go. Prairie Mark says, we had some birthdays and celebrations, a lot of fish heads, goat meat, and blood soup. We need that open mind mentality when eating with in-laws. Yeah, you do, you know. Justin French, 79 and cloudy in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. There we go. 79 is not too bad. Let's see. Jane Underwood says, Sinfuls, yeah, 116 Portland International Airport, all-time record. Breaking, never recorded before. Amazing. I've been in Oregon for 31 years. Leonard Lund says, thanks. I have a friend that might need one. Andrews says, I have a lot of Swedish relatives in Seattle, Washington. A real nest for Swedes. Yeah, out that way. A lot of them worked on the railroads, I heard. So a lot of them were there since the 1800s. I actually had relatives that worked on the railroad. Bondison was the name. That was my relatives. Bondison. Let's see. John Clark says 70 Fahrenheit here in Indiana. Thanks for the ongoing info. No problem, John. Attilas 453 says Lazada deliveries are safe to receive. Yes, absolutely. I have received well over 50 to 100 Lazada deliveries here. Never had a problem with maybe with one, and they refunded my money. So, BG Johnson says I've heard people say that when you get involved with a Filipino woman, that they expect you to financially support their family. It's a cultural expectation. Was that your experience? No, nope. I don't support her mother or father, sisters, brothers. I've helped them a little bit here and there, but do I support them? No, absolutely not. I've given them a few bucks here and there, but I help them with the nieces and nephews and stuff like that, the kids that are poor and stuff. I help more of them than anything else, but I volunteer to do that. I've never been asked. Never have I ever been asked to help her family. I've always helped out on my own, you know. Let's see. Sinful says, Zane Underwood, I am in Southern Oregon until October, then I will be in Silang. Let's see. Joey Amar Habib says, hey, I'm 41, living in Canada. Love your videos, thinking about leaving the rat race here, but not sure if I'll regret the different lifestyle. Either way, it's my pleasure to say hi to you. Thanks, Joey. I appreciate it. It's definitely a different lifestyle, Joey. And you got to make it, you got to kind of take the bull by the horns when you get over here and make this life yours. And that's what I've done, you know. And I tell a lot of people, it's not for them. They don't like it here. You know, I've seen some people go home and tell their girlfriends that, they'll be back in 3 months, and then they never come back. You know. See, Willie Reveliman, something like that. Can I be your son, please? Adopt me. Nah, just kidding. Okay. Mike D, BG, look up Utang Nalub. They owe a debt to the family for being born. Yeah. Justin French, don't buy a condo with just a 36-month tourist visa, right? No. Nope. I would definitely make sure that you're living here permanent, Justin. I would have the SRV visa to do that, you know. On the SRV visa, it gives you a lot of rights here, too, because you can work here, and it gives you some other rights, too. So just be aware of that. Bruce Davis says, hi, sir. How are you? I'm doing good, Bruce. Thank you. Roger Miller, Steve, who is your internet provider? My internet provider is Converge. I used to have PLDT, but it was awful. And Converge is much better. You know, it works pretty good. John Clark says, don't blame you for being particular about what you eat after hearing your stories of your first 6 months there. It was almost a year I was getting sick, you know. Plus seeing the street wet markets. Yeah, that's why I show those. I want people to understand that, there's flies laying eggs in your food and stuff like that at those wet markets. It's not healthy. And you can wash your food and cook it and stuff like that, cook it out, but that stuff's unrefrigerated for a long time, so there's bacteria growing in there too. So you're better off getting it from well-known places. I get my steaks and stuff from Rare Foods up in Manila. They deliver the steaks frozen right to your house. You can't beat that, and meat too. You can get ground beef and stuff like that, fish, halibut, lobster, anything you want, basically. Bruce Davis says, I'm from Oregon. Loved your video. My wife from Philippines, Quezon City. Yeah, Quezon City, I have a friend of mine up there. We'll actually probably be up there tomorrow if it's not raining in the morning. Van Turner says, sent money via Western Union on June 30, as I have done for years. Tried to send money on July 2nd, and Western Union says It was illegal via U.S. government, but it wasn't 2 days earlier used remitly. Yeah, when you send over $1,000, it flags your money coming over to the Philippines. It probably wasn't illegal, but they probably flagged it. I call the people and tell them that I'm here, and I'm right in the house with my girlfriend, and I send it to her sometimes, and it just makes my life easier because she takes care of all the bills and stuff. So Mike D says, you have to realize what you're getting into, what they call the third world. I feel more free in those places than the U.S. Yeah, seriously. I mean, over here, I feel more free over here than in the U.S. That's true. Willie White says, good day, Steve. How you doing, Willie? Let's see. Sinfuls, I never heard of Converge. I have to look it up. Converge is a Chinese company. Trevor says, I know why the place in Tracy Martires wasn't full with vaccination. My girlfriend lives in Tracy and says that Filipinos don't want the Sinovac vaccine, and that's what they're given there. Yeah, they are given the Sinovac there. Now, I don't know what they're given over in Tanza, which is just down the street, and the mall was full. So maybe they're given Pfizer or something. I don't know. Let's see. Kurt Schwartz says, greetings from Pittsburgh. Enjoy the videos. Smoky Mountain Modeler says, doesn't buying a condo go toward the deposit on your SRRV? No. What you do is you use the deposit to buy the condo once you get the SRRV. You can do that. Buying a condo doesn't go towards the deposit. It doesn't work that way around. It works the other way around, So Joey let's see. Justin says, Joey, visit to test the waters before making the move to be sure it's a good fit for you. Definitely. Joe Davis says, message retracted, so you must have retracted whatever you said. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. I hope I don't offend my girl there with my obsession avoiding bacterial infections. I have had a good deal of training and classes on food safety. Yeah, I used to be a cook myself, man. I was a cook in the Navy, so I know what you're talking about. She may think I'm overly worried. That's why I am the way that I am, because I was big on food safety in the Navy, and even after I get out. Mike D, it can... Smoky transfers part of your balance on a note that can be dissolved back into cash. It can. It transfers part of your balance on a note back. I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway, Leonard Lunn, you always have good content and great information. Thanks, Leonard. I appreciate it. Van Turner says, I've sent thousands at a time with Western Union and had no problem. Yes, sometimes they flag it. I don't know why, but they do. Are you sending it to your girlfriend or to yourself, Van? That's the question. Because if you send it to a Filipino girl, for some reason they flag it. And lately, anything over 1,000 they flag. So I send it in small portions, and it goes through fine then, Let's see. Robert Angel says, good probiotic like Fluorosist with phage technology will give you a cast iron stomach. I heard that stuff works, but I'm not sure. Anders says, what is your food budget for you and your family? My food budget's weird, okay? Anders, I'll be honest with you. I have a food budget of about $300 a month, okay? And we eat out a lot, okay? And so our food budget's probably closer to maybe $600, $650. I mean, I don't know. It varies from month to month, but some months that's how high it goes. When we go up to Manila and stuff like that, I'll bet you it goes up high. So it does vary though. It's about $300 for the food bill for all the in-house stuff. Sinful says, more free due to more relaxed people and open minds. Yeah, it is. BG Johnson says, I read there is a Verizon call center in the Philippines. Are you able to change your SIM card and use a Verizon phone in the Philippines? I use my smartphone for everything and use a lot of data. I use Smart. I'm not sure about Verizon. I know people buy these special deals and stuff to use outside the country. But why do that when you can have a U.S. phone number on Magic app on your phone, like I've told people before, and I only pay I don't know, I think it's like $35 a year for that, and I call people all the time on that, on my Magic app, which is Magic Jack, for free, and they can call me while I'm walking around as long as I have data, and I use Smart, Let's see. Loco Fab says they don't have machetes, they have bolos. Let's see. Scott Torres says, do you, do you have to be completely retired to get an SRV, or can you be a couple of years or a year from retirement to start one? No, you have to be completely retired because you have to show the pensions. So just FYI, Scott. Mike D says the condo SRV thing was what I was mentioning, Steve. You addressed it. Okay. I know you gotta to do that. You gotta buy the condo while the money's in the thing in the bank, and you have to contact the PRA to do that, from what I understand. But I don't know anybody that's done it yet. But I believe that's what the agent told me. Let's see. Zane Underwood. Steve, have you ever eaten at Roy Moore's Lobster House in Gloucester? I have not. My cousin actually lives in Gloucester. You know, I used to go to Rockport, and I used to go to Bearskin Neck out there on Bearskin Neck, and they have a couple of restaurants out there where you sit and eat out in the, out near the water. You probably know where I'm talking about. And then if you go up further, there's a place that sells like pastries and stuff like that, and you can get ice cream with like a apple turnover or a raspberry turnover. It's really, really good. I think it's a Swedish bakery, if I remember correctly. Van Turner, I've always sent my maid or girlfriend and never had a problem. Very seldom sending my name. See, Justin Frantz, what's your best Navy cooked meal that you would prepare for a large group? We prepared lobster one time when we were out at sea. Lobster tails. That was our best meal. Lobster tails, French fries. I forget what else we had. I can't recall, but I know we had lobster tails. That was probably the best meal that we ever had. It was for halfway night on my sub. We were halfway through the patrol, so that was like a big celebration. Let's see. Philip Rogers says, definitely try out several different islands. I lived in Manila, in that heart of the city. Not really that great of a place. Wife did not want to go anywhere else. Yeah, Manila's tough to live in. I couldn't live there myself because it's kind of dirty and grungy. It's not that clean. The restaurants aren't as clean there. You get more sick there more often because the people that work in the restaurants come from some of the squatters areas and stuff like that, and they just don't have the same. They don't live the same way as we do. And whereas when you get out in Tracy here, most of the people are college kids. It's a lot better. I'll just say that they watch them closer too, and they train them more. John Clark, Steve, what's the best visa for a non-military retiree if you have a good pension, rental business, income? Great job keeping. I would still go the SRV route. Find the one that's best for you, John, and go that route. That's what I tell people. SRV, at least you can stay here, man. So you don't have to leave when something happens. That's why I tell people, get the SRV because it gives you more rights, and it gives you discounts, and they do things, getaways each year that you can go on, and they pay for it, and also they have a Christmas party each year. It's like being a member of a Expat club. It's kind of cool. They treat us really, really good. They also help you with documentation if you need like licenses, things like that. So the PRA is kind of run by the BI, I would say. It's kind of loosely, but like the BI watches over the PRA. PRA is excellent, though. I love them up there. Kurt Schwartz says, I'm so glad there are other people concerned about food safety. I try to be careful, and I tend to eat the same things. Also, if you ever seen the PRA newsletter, they have a newsletter. I'm in one of the newsletters. I think I was in the last one. I was in there like about 6 or 7 times in 6 different pictures. So if you look in there, you'll see me. Kurt Schwartz says, I'm so glad there are people concerned. Let's see, we did that one. Kurt Schwartz says, I sent Verizon iPhone to Manila to family. It works. Yeah, as long as it's unlocked, they work. Robert Angel says, I've been to the Philippines 3 times and Thailand 2 times and ate sweet food. Never got sick while on my probiotic. I'll have to check that out. I've actually bought some of those. You can buy those at Watson's, the probiotics. It comes like in a tube. You just crack it open and swallow it. Alma Lee, OFW, China. Good evening, Steve. Happy weekend. How you doing, Alma? Welcome aboard again. Joey says, when you bought your burger for the kid the other day, were you ever faced with a group of other kids wanting the same? No. I usually look around. If you feed one hungry person, then everyone else wants it too. Yeah, some of those people, they'll rush you and try to, surround you. I look around me and make sure there isn't a bunch of them around, you know. And I bought him the burger at McDonald's and I gave him the change afterwards. And then he came up to me after just to say hi. Just to, you know, I don't think anybody had ever looked out for some of those kids. Like, you know, when I'm going on the street, I usually look out for the street kids. I just have a big heart for those kids. You know, when you see those kids living in the street, you know the way they sleep. I walk by some of them, they're sleeping on cardboard. So I try to take care of those people. I have a heart for those people. Sinful says, BG Johnson, like Steve is saying, you can port your American number to Magic app for cheap. Yeah, you can. See, Michael L., the Verizon call center is outsourced call center. Look up BPO. There's a lot of call centers around here, right in Dasma. It might even be Verizon. I know Metro used to use them. Metro, PCS. Let's see, Van Turner, Magic Jack, you have to have a U.S. phone number, don't you? U.S. or Canada? I think it works for Canada too, Van Turner. I'm pretty sure. Sperlin Edwards, wow, I finally caught you. Great show, big guy. Thanks, Sperlin. Mike D says, I use Globe for cell depending on your area. They have regional carriers. Yeah, I use Smart. I like Smart. Used to work for a remittance company. They flag it especially for various reasons, and one of them due to love scam. Yeah. Unless you can, if you call them back and tell them you know the girl, you know her personally, they usually let it go through. They're protecting you. Yeah, it's like you wrote, protecting the sender from sending a person they have not met. You're correct. Local Fab, they assume all Filipinos are scammers. Yes, they do. Let's see, been blocked by Western Union. Western Union can be tough, but they see that I send to my girlfriend all the time, so they let it through now. for like 5 years, so I mean, why would they block it now? But they still do sometimes. Steve Ford, hi Steve, I recently sent money for land via my bank in France. They told me the Philippines was a high-risk country. I had to prove land title, etc. Took 2 weeks to get the money released. Yeah, they're kind of rough sometimes. They can be, you know. So be careful when you send them. That's why I don't send over 1,000. Be careful. P. Greeny says, almost all cellular companies in the U.S. are CDMA frequency, while the PI is GSM frequency. So most U.S. cell phones will not work in PI. That's not true. I have never had a problem with my cell phone, P. Greeny. You know, never, ever, ever, ever. So that's not true because everybody's cell phone has worked over here. You know, my iPhones work over here. Everything works over here. Never had a problem. And everybody else's, I've never seen anybody have a problem with their phone over here. Kevin Nash's Kitchen, I use about 5 gigabytes data per week on my phone here. Many hours of internet, no phone calls, but much FB. Yeah, I'm the same way. Hope 20 gigabyte data is not going to cost me an arm and a leg. No, it's cheap. You can, you know, when I get my plan, I do the unlimited time. You can buy like 10 gigs or 5 gigs at a time. And it lasts me for a long time, you know. Kurt Schwartz says AT&T in the U.S. is GSM, Verizon, CDMA. Mike D, get TransferWise multi-currency card. You can use it unlimited without fee on any currency held in the account, up to like 10 or so different ones. The ATM applies a fee like $16 to pull 3K. That's not that bad, you know. A lot of people here are like cheap Charlies sometimes when it comes to paying ATM fees. I don't have a problem paying it. Most of mine I get reimbursed. My bank reimburses the ATM fees, you know. So, but there's a lot of guys out there, they complain about paying $10 or something like that. And, you know, I had one guy complain to me saying, I'm not going to pay $6 to send money. And I said, well, how much are you sending? He says, I want to send like $1,500. I says, I'll pay that gladly, you know, it doesn't hurt me, you know, but you just use your ATM then. As long as your bank refunds it, that's the easiest way. You don't have to pay fees. See, Alan Masterman says, how could you have avoided cellulite? U.S. I am nervous to go to the Philippines. Is there vaccines? Do you smoke? You know, when I got you're talking about the cellulitis that I had, Alan? The cellulitis I caught from mosquitoes and scratching it. It's from scratching it. Okay, that's how you get it. And my legs still have the scars, but it's finally starting to go away. I bought a herb called Gotu Gola extract, and that started healing my legs. It was the only thing that worked, and my legs are almost back to normal. You know, but you have to be careful over here. Zane Underwood says lobster is amazing. Yes, it is. I love lobster. You know, Layla Finland says message retracted. Robert Nagel, TransferWise, which is now called Wise, is very good way to send money internationally at a very good price. I have been using it for years. Yeah, there's a lot of different places. I just stick with Western Union because I've worked with them for so long, and they have a record of all the money that I sent. So I just feel comfortable because they can look back at my records and say, yeah, he's okay. He's sent money there before for 5 years, you know. Let's see. BG Johnson says, I saw Bank of America has a location in Manila. If I have an account with BOA, would that count for the 20K? And you have to put it in their bank. You know, you have to put it in their bank. It has to go into the bank of their choice, and it's usually BDO. Okay, so just FYI. Joe Davis, Steve, 3 adult kids, don't even check on me, 72 years old, especially during this COVID. All the more reason to move there and marry my 13-month LDR ASAP. Yeah, man, kids nowadays, they don't even want to contact you. I've got the same problem. I mean, we've talked about that in you know, many of my videos, and I feel for you because I don't even get to see my grandchild, so that'll tell you something right there. And kids today, they believe that they're not at fault for anything, and that's the sad thing. You know, I appreciate the Philippines though because of that, because over here, it's given me a place to go and feel happy, you know. So if you're looking for a place to go, you know, it's a place to go, Joe. It's safe over here. I don't know about your age at 72. We've talked about that, but as long as you keep yourself healthy, this is the place to come, and you can feel comfortable with that. Alan Masterman says, could you have avoided cellulitis if there was a vaccine? Let's see. I think this popped back. There is no vaccine. I don't smoke, no. And this is more of a jungle area, you know. Let's see, Keith Richards, Pac-Man going to run for president in the Philippines? I believe he is. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything other than that he is running right now. Loco Fab, girlfriend lives in squatters area, night and day, difference between inside and outside the house. Yeah, man, squatters areas can be rough, you know. Willie White, I've been using Remitly for bank-to-bank delivers and SRE, just like Western Union on deliveries to money changers. Western Union flagged me for sending $50 a couple of years ago. Yeah, Western Union can be funky sometimes. That's just usually in the beginning. They did that to me a couple times too, but once you get through all that, they can look back at all your transfers and see that you're good. Tennessee Travel says, P. Greeny, actually, that's not correct. Most cell companies in the U.S. are GSM Tech and their phones. Any phone that uses a SIM card basically is GSM phone. Will work in the Philippines. He's right. I've never seen a phone have problems over here. Never. Mike D says, I have a dual SIM. P. Greeny works anywhere in the world. P. Greeny says, Kurt, thank you for clarifying. Jan Brazina says, hey, do you have brownouts where you live? Very seldom. I think we've only had one brownout, but we've had power outages from storms and stuff, so. But one brownout. Sperlin Edwards says, so we should buy the Magic Jack before we leave the States? Yes. You should try to set it up there. And you can port your number over. If you call them up, you can get all that information. They're pretty easy to set up. You have to go online and sign in first. Because some people have problems with that. They forget it they think it just starts right up and gives you a number. No, you have to go in and fill out all the information first, and then it gives you your phone number. And you get to pick an area code of your choice or port your number. Mike D says, Google Fi devices run on any tower in the world. Mr. Hot Toddy says, with all the people talking about your cell phones, make sure that you get your cell phone unlocked from your carrier so it will accept another SIM card. That's correct. Guys, make sure you unlock your phones before you bring them here. Otherwise, they won't work here. Okay, so you need to talk to your cell carrier and tell them to unlock it. You might have to pay it up or whatever. You know, if you're ending your contract early, but they need to unlock that. It might take a little work, so make sure you do that before you come here. Let's see. Good to hear the phone thing is not a big deal there now. Kevin Nash says. Sinfuls, I just opened a Chase Sapphire account. No overseas fees for ATM or transfer. That's good. You know, they got some good accounts out there. Some of you can get points. If you guys can find accounts like credit cards with points and stuff like that, and you use your credit card and you pay it at the end of the month, and there's no like interest during the month when that you buy it, some of those cards you can rack up some serious points over here, man. You know, Mike D says use Navy Federal and TransferWise myself. Have a couple of apps too. Let's see. Michael L says everyone uses LTE now. Most good phones have both radios if it needs to fall back to 3G. The limiting factor for U.S. phones is usually because the carrier SIM locked it. Guys, also when you get over here and you get Smart or Globe, make sure you flick on the Wi-Fi calling, because you can get phone calls through your Wi-Fi if the signal is bad also. But you have to go into your settings to do that. Okay. Let's see. Mike D says I won't own a locked phone. I buy them outright. I feel the same way, Mike. 23Z Chris, Globe has mobile data plan with calls and data, 10 gigabytes valid for 1 week, cost 120 pesos. You're right. But Smart also has similar things like that, but you can also buy data. Most people just use the data because people can call into your phone, but you can't call out. So just FYI. So if you buy the data, make sure you buy the unlimited data that lasts forever until it's used up. Okay? So Ham Killer, does the VA mail meds to the Philippines, or do you have to go to Manila to pick up your meds? No, they mail them from the Philippines here to your house. Wherever you live in the Philippines, they mail them. They have courier. Tennessee Travel, Sperlin Edwards, I use Google Voice. It's free and works great on laptop and cell phone. See, Leonard Lund says, you are so right about the kids. Let's see. Yeah, the kids here, I love the kids here. Kevin Nash's Kitchen, I just have 2 debits with direct deposit and both linked. I can use both and have in Singapore, so they should both be okay with Philippines. Okay. Dickie Spaz says you can unlock your own phone in less than 10 minutes. You probably can, but some of the people on here, some people are good with tech and some people aren't, and I'm not. Bruce Davis, hi Kevin Nash. How are you, bro? That's from Bruce. Mike D says, that's true, Dickie. A simple program can unlock them quickly. Sperlin Edwards, thanks, Tennessee Travelers. Tennessee Traveler says, Ham Killer, the VA won't mail meds to the Philippines. I just get mine locally. I just med thyroid. It's cheap. If you go up here to Manila and you get prescribed drugs at VA Manila, they usually mail them to you, or you can pick them up right there while you're at your appointment. And you can go online and you can have them send more. That's what I do. I just go on to My Healthy Vet and they send it right out. You know, when I run out of one, they mail me my other, you know, and it comes right directly to the house by courier. Kurt Swartz says, is your electricity only 220, Steve? Yes, but I have a couple of items that run on, you know, the old 110 from the US, and I got a transformer in there. I have a radio and something else. Alma B, do you and your family in the Philippines already got the COVID shot, Steve? No. Stay healthy with the Philippines family, okay? Hoping you guys get the Pfizer vaccine or wait for another rather than Sinovac. Yeah, they wanted us to get Sinovac. I won't get that. I'm not even sure if I'm going to get it. I'm actually, I can get mine from the VA on the 7th, and my girlfriend can get a caregiver one later on, and I'm still debating, so I have till the 7th to decide. Let's see, Justin French says 45 minutes on stationary bike while on live chat is enough today. Hitting the shower. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Justin. Thanks for watching. See, Willie White, T-Mobile is supposed to have a good plan and support there. Yeah, T-Mobile has people, you know, working in the call centers here that they hire. They hire call centers here to answer their stuff. But yeah, they are here. Let's see. Dickie Spaz says, good evening, Steve. Cold front coming through Phoenix today. Supposed to be only 101. Boy, that's like a cold wave. Joey Amar Habib, can you give a couple of examples of why you feel more free there? Um, do you miss living in the United States? I feel more free here because I'm able to speak to people about things without getting criticized because of my political beliefs or whatever. You know, in the United States, if you don't agree with people, whether it's political beliefs or other beliefs, they have it's an argument fest. And I got so burned out on that back in Massachusetts because everybody has an opinion in Massachusetts and they have to try to force it down your throat. And I got so sick of that from when I was working in the school department back there that I just had to get out of there. And it was like they were going to shove it down your throat, you know. And here, I barely talk politics with people here, and I enjoy that. You know, it's like a freedom away from all that garbage and all that strife and political garbage in the States. I know that they have political stuff here, but they don't pay much attention to it. It's like the United States was back in the 70s and 80s. That's why. That's why I like it here. That's the freedom. It's freedom to express yourself, and people will listen to you, and they'll comment in a kind way, rather than trying to shove their belief down your throat. That's just me, you know. And other people will tell you the same thing here. The people here are really friendly, and most of the conversations don't go to that. You know, we always have good conversations here, and they're enjoyable conversations. Once in a while, I'll talk with some expats here, you know, about different things. But most of the time, we don't get on politics that much. We just stay off of that, and that's something I really like to have, is to stay away from politics. Where back in the United States, everybody was into politics, you know. Do you believe the future is friendly? Sorry Case says. Sorry Case, I think the world is changing fast. I'm not sure if it's going to be friendly. I see things changing over here too, unfortunately. But it's slow. It's a lot slower over here. I think we'll be good over here for another 20 years. You know, Bruce Davis, Willie, so T-Mobile is good over there. I wouldn't get T-Mobile. I'd get Smart or Globe. Dickie Spaz, Willie, I have T-Mobile and no issues at all in the penis. I know they have things that you can get, but you guys are spending way more money than you have to if you're going to live over here. Let's see. Tennessee Driver, Willie White, I used T-Mobile for a few months. I now have Google Voice, and it's free. It works great on the laptop and phone. Yeah, Google Voice will work too. But if you don't use it, you lose your number. And that's one thing I like about having the Magic app. I think you have to pay on Google Voice. I think you can pay, and you can get some sort of deal with them where you can keep your number permanently. Zane Underwood says, I was in Boston training at Andover at HP in 2007 when the Red Sox won the World Series against the Colorado Rockies, and everybody was so happy. They were driving like sane people for once. There's a change. Let's see, Alex RC. Let's see, at Andover, right? Wow. Yeah, Andover's right next to Lawrence. That's right next to where I live. Alex RC, just sharing my experience, Steve. I was using my U.S. credit card and found out from a cashier at SM Supermarket that there's a 13% charge whenever you use a credit card. Local ATM is better to use. Wow. 13%. Wow, I never knew that. I'm going to have to look into that. I've never heard that. I've never seen any excess charges on my credit card. I'm going to have to check that. Robert, I usually pay cash anyway. My girlfriend, I give her the $300, but that's interesting to know. Robert Carter, great channel, Steve. I may make a pit stop in Mexico before Philippines. Magic Jack works in Mexico, right? Yeah, it works everywhere in the world, man, except for China. And maybe a couple other communist countries. Bruce Davis says, I've got 2 cards. Got Visa, MasterCard. I use both. They're 2017. Frankie Stockton says, I just lived down the road from you in Mangahan. Been here 6 years now and married, and we have 2 young daughters, 5 and 3 years old. Love it here. Freddie, let's get in touch sometime, man. You know, I go up to SM Dasma all the time. If you see me walking around at SM Dasma, come up to me and say hi. You know, I'm always up at SM Dasma. I go to Prime Steakhouse quite a lot. Just look in there, you'll probably see me in there. Mike D, Magic Tech works anywhere you have internet. It's VoIP. Well, some places they block VoIP, you know, but yeah, it works in most places. like China and stuff like that, I don't think they'd allow that there. China has weird internet. Willie White, Tennessee, goes. Does that work with mobile banking? Lately, I have been losing faith in Google. No, the way that, see, you guys, I know that they send you this thing saying that they have to send you a text or something like that. You call your bank up, okay, and you tell them that you don't have text. Tell them that you want to just use email instead. And then that's the way you get around that, Willie. Okay, that's the way I got around it. And everything now is all email. My bank did that. So most banks will work with you on that. Not all, most. So just be aware. Tennessee Traveler says Robert Carter, Magic Jack, and Google Voice work anywhere in the world as long as you've got internet connection, and Google Voice is free. But the magic, well, yeah, Google's free, but like I said, you have to be careful about losing the number. And I'm not sure if you can port numbers. They say you can, but I think you have to pay just like Magic App and Magic Jack. Leonard Lund says, I took the Pfizer shots a couple of months ago, no side effects, and CDC says it's a sedative for all the mutation. I don't know, I guess spelling error there big time. Kevin Nash's Kitchen, I would be cool to get ham radio group going with expats all over the islands. Ham radio is pretty cool. I'm not really into the ham radio stuff. I used to have CB radio myself, but I never really got into the ham radio stuff. It's kind of outdated now, I think, isn't it? With the internet and everything. Mike D, I looked for Moderna. Last dose at the start of May was a zinger. Laid me down for 3 days. Yeah, I'm hearing some people are having some side effects, big side effects. Smoky Mountain Modeler says, over for an extended stay, can you send a Ballot buying box to a shipper and pick it up when you get an address? I'm not sure about that. You'd have to probably talk to the people that ship the Ballot buying box and ask them if they would hold it for you. That would be up to the people that do that, to be honest with you. But I would think that they might, but I've never heard of anybody doing that, no. Craig Jordan, politics is the new secular answer to religion here in the U.S. Yeah, it seems to be that way, huh, Craig? I would say the same thing. Tennessee Traveler, people worship politics more than they do anything else. Willie White, I have Google Voice and receive verification codes from my bank. Yeah, it varies from bank to bank because some of them pick up on, they know somehow that you're sending it to like a VoIP Wi-Fi phone, so they don't do it, unfortunately. Some do, some do let it go through. BG Johnson, would you trust 20K in most Philippine banks? I heard a few stories about banks doing some odd things, mainly taking forever. Would I trust? You're talking about the 20K money probably in the security deposit? Yes, I would because the PRA knows that that's there, and you can't touch it unless you go through the PRA. So if it gets stolen or something like that, then I'm sure they'll help you with it. Mike D, the ham certification overseas can be tricky in areas. Kevin, I have 5 hams, 2 portable with whips. Alex RC, definitely here in the U.S., people aren't really friendly nor helpful, especially here in L.A., sad to say. Yeah, it's getting that way all over the world, unfortunately. Tor, I got 2 times Pfizer, a little tired, slight headache after the first one, nothing after the second one. Craig Jordan says, what provider do you recommend in a choice, Smart or Globe? I choose Smart, Craig. I like Smart. It's for some reason, I don't know, I just always like Smart. Michael L says that T-Mo is only 2G in the Philippines. Still recommend Google 5 for a US number. Mike D, you can run digital mesh over ham too. Let's see, they're having like a radio conversation here. Kevin Nash's Kitchen, I started on ham license here wanting to do 2-meter band. Steve Barons, hi Steve, like your videos, very informative. Thank you, Steve. Bearded Patriot TV, not sure if this was asked already. Did you get the vaccine yet? No, I haven't. I put in for it on the 7th because I've been on the fence. I'm still not sure if I'm going to get it. Probably won't know till like the day before. Update on the COVID. Tracy Martinez has the Sinovac vax. Nobody's showing up to get the vaccines, hardly at all. And over in Tanzania, I think they're giving out different shots, but I'm not sure because the place was packed. So when I was in Tanzer at the mall over there, the place was totally packed. Michael L., I have shopped at many places in the Philippines. I never saw a 13% surcharge. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I've never heard, I think that lady had the wrong information. I've never seen I've charged food at SM before on a credit card one time because I forgot my cash at home. And I don't remember ever getting a 13% charge. That's why, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a lie, but it just sounds kind of strange. Let me see. I'm trying to go back here. Everything just popped up, so I lost part of it. Let's see. Oh, all right. Now I'm back on. 270 for Satcom. Let's see. Bruce Davis. So any news about time like USA will be able to go to the Philippines? I think within the next couple months. I think we'll start seeing the green lane open. Sorry, Case. Have you encountered any dangerous critters at or near your home? Not dangerous. I've had the spiders jump on me and stuff like that, but none of them are really dangerous. I've seen a few rats around, walking around. We've killed some snakes out here, things like that. Other than that, nothing much really, Let's see. Craig Jordan, either Smart or Globe have pros and cons. I use Smart. P449 for unlimited calls and text to any network and 4 gigs of data to run my Google Voice on. Yeah, that's pretty good. I get some other plans that are cheaper than that. I just get the data plans because the phone calls they usually call me. Amphib Av says he's talking about his ham thing there. He's talking with somebody else. Leonard Lund, I meant effective for all variants. Let's see. Scott Torres says, my family has a history of blood clots. I don't need any vaccine that's going to help facilitate blood clots. You know something, Scott, I have the same thing. I had a blood clot that was detected after I went to the VA, but it was old, so it had solidified. I don't know if it was calcified or whatever, but they found it when they were doing an x-ray. So, and I knew I had something going on one time because my legs were all going cold and stuff like that and really sore. But I didn't know it was a blood clot. I didn't know what it was. Willie White, what about maintaining an address? The U.S. for banking and credit cards. I am now using mailbox connecting to a trailer park to maintain a residence. Yeah, I would try to have a relative or something like that to have an address back there, Willie. That's the best way to do it. Don't use any of those mail places because if you're doing like if you have a brokerage account, they usually know which places are addresses at some of those places. So just be careful, because if they see that you're using one of those places like Mailbox, etc., or one of those places, or UPS store or something like that, they'll know and they'll just they'll close out your account. So be careful, Mike D says, ham is far from outdated, Steve. People need to revitalize the hobby, but it can even run internet on digital mesh. It can reach thousands of miles. I'm not saying it's outdated. I just don't see a lot of people using it anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of like CB radios, right? I mean, you don't see it that much. Let's see. Steve Barons, can I port my USA phone number to Magic Jack? Yes, you can. And receive and make calls from the Philippines? Yes, you can. Absolutely. I make phone calls every day. Matter of fact, you guys call me all the time on that number. I give you guys a U.S. number. If you email me and you need questions answered, I give you that. And the calls are clear as day. Kevin Nash's Kitchen, yeah, I get up in the morning with a coffee and get out there and chat over the airways, find a group chatting about stuff and listening. Yeah, it can be fun. I mean, I used to be on the CB and do stuff like that a long time ago as a kid. Steve Barons, I have both Moderna shots here in Florida. Tennessee Traveler, Steve Barons, you can port your number to Magic Jack or Google Voice. Yeah, I heard you could do it that way. Zane Underwood says the Red Sox, a lobster dinner, and a Sam Adams. Now that's living. That's right. Something, when I was walking the other day through the supermarket, I found Beck's beer. And it was the first time I've seen a Beck's beer in probably like over 5 years. I didn't buy a can because now I know that they have them. But Next time I go shopping there, because I was just going to do a video there, and they had music playing, so I couldn't do the video in the supermarket. But they had Beck's beer, and I love having like a nice can of Beck's beer. But I have some Heinekens in the fridge here, and I'll have like a Heineken probably like once or twice a month. You know. Let's see. Alex says, please press the like button, guys, to show Steve our appreciation and support. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate that. Amphib Av says, did you kill and eat those loud roosters? Yeah, they're all gone. Every single one is gone. You know, so we don't hear any roosters in the morning or anything. Let's see. John Clark says, Steve, can you ship a motorcycle and parts using Ballot boxes? No, bulk buy-in boxes to avoid high tariffs? That's a good question, because I've had people ask me about shipping motorcycles over here. I would imagine you probably could, but I don't know. It's something you may want to ask the shipping company to see if you could do that. I would think that you probably could. If you could fit the stuff in boxes, yeah, why not, you know? Willie Hernandez says, hi, Steve. First time online from San Francisco, California. Love your vlogs. It's very informative and worthwhile to listen to and very educational. Thanks, Willie. I appreciate that. Mike D says, Satcom has big delay, but I've done a lot of it. A friend of mine, dad is a FEMA operator on ham. I did a lot of military comms. Let's see, Joe Davis, just look at the body bags, Steve. Anything but Sinovac. Yeah, Sinovac is having problems over here. We've actually had somebody around town here that died, and there was supposedly 2 others that I've heard about around here. But one of those is verified. The other 2 are pretty much, they're not verified, but I've heard 2 people died outside around here somewhere from those. So, but people say, no, it's not happening. Well, what do you need? Do you need the body bag in front of you? You know what I mean? No, it happened. It happened. There's somebody that has died. Okay? Ham radio is still used in the USA, comes in handy. Yep. Let's see. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. When you need to register the bike and they ask for your import papers. Yeah, maybe you'll have a problem then. That's true. You'd have to think about that. You know, how to register the bike. Mike D, FCC license, etc. while I served. Let's see. Willie White. Do you still have to wait 6 months to open a bank account if you take advantage of the military retirement visa? I open an account pretty fast. I mean, remember, when you come here, you have to open up an account for the security. I would imagine when you open that account, I probably could have opened up a personal account for myself. You know, because you go to BDO with the agent, and the agent takes you in there to open the account for your security money. So I would think that you could probably open up an account right then and there while you're doing it. You definitely ask. If the most you're going to have to wait is like 3 months, though, because once you get the Srrv visa, it shows that you're staying here, so you should be able to open. You don't even have to wait 3 months. I think you can open it right away. Because I vaguely remember opening it within like a month or 2, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But I think you could open it as soon as you open the account, your security account. I'm almost sure you could, because they have the proof right there that you're going to get the Srrv visa because you're opening the account for it. So that's all the proof the bank needs, you know. So that should be all you need. Kurt Schwartz, the post office says the informed delivery service that will email you a copy of mail. I'd like to learn more about that. Yeah, that's only back home in the States. They don't have that here. You know, it lets you know that a letter went to your house or something like that, or wherever. Let's see. Mike D, you need a big brain or a lot of time on your hands to weed through the communication stuff. It's a lot of fancy terms, not actually that hard though. Let's see. J.M. Rusted says that's a good city to live in that isn't too far from the beaches. I initially wanted to stay in Manila, but I have found out that it takes a good 3 hours to get to a good beach from there. Yes, definitely. Even down here, if you go to Ternate, okay, the beaches are not that good. Even in Tanza, they're not that great. You have to get down by Batangas, which isn't too far from us, by the way. It's a little bit of a ride, but it's not that far of a ride. That's why I tell people Trece is a good spot, because you're in between Manila, you're in between Batangas. You can go down to Tanza Oasis and use the pool, you know, places like that. So I tell people I'm close to Tagaytay. I'm just like 2 jeepney rides away from Tagaytay, you know. So we have the best of everything here. We're close to Alabang to go to Western Malls. You know, we can go to Mall of Asia. We have a good mall in town. We can go to Dasma. You know, so and we're near good hospitals. I have hospitals right down the street. Plus, we have the De La Salle University Hospital. So we have everything really close to Tracy, and a lot of people are starting to eye Tracy more because of that. You know, it's not the best little town, but it's not the worst. It is the capital of Cavite province. Okay, and it's got nice malls here. So I mean, like, and it has good doctors around here. It has everything that you need basically. So I mean, you couldn't ask for better. See, I think one reason people here in the U.S. couldn't care less, it's because your life here is stressful and you don't get to really enjoy life. It's about money here because you're buried in debt. Alex, you're probably right. You know, when I was there, I was getting out of debt, and man, when I paid off all my debt, it felt so good. That's one of the things I feeling of freedom over here too, is no debt. I have no debt. You know, every once in a while I'll do an overdraft because I want to buy something, you know, but I pay it off right away, you know, because I have $4,000 of overdraft. So I use that once in a while if I want to buy something, you know, but I pay it off as soon as my checks roll in, you know, my pension checks. Tim Johnson says, Steve, I'm friendly. You going to hang with me? No drinking, and I'm in bed by 7. I'm like a night person, Tim, but yeah, if you ever want to hang out during the day or something, I don't drink that much either myself. BG Johnson says, I love eggs and fish. I've heard people say they're cheap in the Philippines, lots of fresh eggs and local fishermen. Would you agree with that? Yes. If you go there to the market in the morning and get some fresh fish, you can. They're still flapping on the table. Haha, Alex RC. Some are entirely consumed. Let's see. Philip Rogers says, it depends on what island you live in, but you're always near a beach. Yeah, you kind of are. Some people live inland in Luzon, so it's kind of hard to get to the beach. Let's see. Thank you for your updates. Thank you, Alan. I haven't done any tile updates, guys. If you guys are wondering why, it's because it's only blowing off steam and gases. It's nothing really big yet. And, you know, I'm watching tile to, you know, I'll keep you guys updated if something big happens. Okay, because I live nearby and this is not a big deal. We've had stuff like this happen before. So I know you guys are probably hearing a little bit about tile. We've had steam and stuff blow off there before, and it's not a big deal. They're making more about, I know that they're saying that the magma is a lot closer to the surface, but it could be months before it erupts, or it might not erupt at all, you know, because every time that lake water hits that stuff, that's when the steam comes up. And then it puts it out for a while, and then it does it again. And it's done 3 like small gas eruptions, which is different than the lava eruptions. So just FYI. Let's see. Robert says the Ballot buying boxes are not big enough for motorbike. Robert, I think they do 55-gallon drums though too. You can do. They used to. I don't know if they still do that. Alex RC, yes, you can include small motorcycle parts in Ballot buying box as long as it's for personal use, not commercial. Mike D, what do they do? Moan like Japanese Srrv? I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. Mike D says, I played that debt game for a couple times. Then I became financially literate. Yeah, man, once you get free of all that debt, it's great. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. They don't carry some model bikes I like in the Philippines, but most are not up to Euro or 5 emission standards and grandfathered in here in the States to avoid emission standards. Let's see. The reason the people aren't showing up for the shot is that the rumor that the Filipinos listen to about the shot. My girlfriend said people will die 2 years after getting the shot. LOL, many believe this. They believe that in the U.S. though too, you know, because there's a lot of things going on. A lot of people have that conspiracy theory stuff going on. But there is a lot of questions about the shots though. You know, not conspiracy theory stuff either. There is a lot of questions. Steve Barron. Steve, I have the Srrv question. Which law enforcement agency do I request my background report? Police or sheriff? I went to myfbireport.com. I think it's mbiinvestigations.com now, but if you go to myfbireport.com, it brings you to that site. and you can get it on there. And that's what worked for me. You can go to the police department and get it too. And maybe they'll tell you to go to the sheriff, but most police departments do it also, okay? Or they'll tell you where to go to get it. Let's see, Google Sucks says, are there places to bike there or near Tagaytay? Absolutely. Mostly for exercise, not hardcore road or mountain biking. Yes, absolutely. Actually, they got mountain bike stuff there too. But yeah, in Tagaytay and in Tracy, there are places you can go. You have to kind of search them out though. The place where I go walking every day, you know, that I do some of my videos from. You could probably bring a bike in there. I'm sure they'd let you. A lot of hams here. Dying hobby. I agree. Outdated. Let's see. High frequency privileges. Let's see. We're still on the ham thing. Let's see. There are many rumors. Let's see. Untested vaccines in the military. I'm still fine. They're talking about the I'm trying to find. Steve, have you ever visited Dumaguete? No, I have not. I have not visited there. I have friends of mine that have lived there. A lot of them didn't like it, you know. Let's see. In Tennessee Traveler says, Steve Barron's, when I was getting my stuff together, I got the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation background check and got it apostilled at the Tennessee Secretary of State's office. There you go. Let's see. Scott Torres says, from what I understand, there's therapies that will kill COVID-19. It will take a chance. I'll take a chance with those if I get it. Let's see. Kevin Nash's Kitchen. Hey there. Jim and Rose's venture in Manila, Philippines. Let's see. I'm going to get ready to sign off, guys. I'm getting kind of tired here. We're up to almost like 90 minutes. So I'm going to call it a night, guys. But I want to thank all you guys for coming on here tonight. We're going to do this again next Saturday. And sometimes I do one or two during the week. And I just go on random. It'll probably be at like 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, though, if I do them during the week, okay? But anyway, guys, thanks for coming on here. Let me answer a couple more questions. I'll just pick some random. Let's see. Kaparan says, if you were going to buy a property, would you buy one already built or build a new one on a plot? If I was going to buy some property with my girlfriend, I would build a new one on the plot because it's fairly cheap. Let's see. Sinful says, I just received my FBI report back. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here for a good question. We got a guy on here talking about seriously hesitant to take the Chinese vaccines. Yeah, people are getting some side effects and stuff like that. Kate Fox says, hello, Steve and all. David C. said that each piece of furniture was broken into a larger box. He's talking about the Ballot buying boxes. All right, I think we're just about done here, guys. But anyway, guys. Thanks for watching, and be sure to watch us next week. Thanks again, guys. God bless. Take care.